Okay, so we're going to talk about percent yield in this podcast. So let's say you're making a batch of chocolate chip cookies and you're following a recipe that says you should get 100 cookies, but you do everything it says and you end up with 88 cookies. What is your percent yield? Well, your percent yield is pretty easy to figure out. It's 88%, right? It's going to be 88 cookies is what you got over 100 cookies, which is what you should get. You multiply times 100 to get it as a percent, and that's your percent yield. Okay, so there's lots of reasons why a chemical equation won't get 100% yield. And a lot of times engineers spend their careers working on trying to get 1 or 2 or 3% more yield out of a given manufacturing process because it can be worth a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So let's take a look at percent yield in a little more depth. So theoretical yield is basically, let's define our terms, is what I should make if it were a perfect reaction. So if it went 100% to completion, theoretical yield is what I should get. Actual yield is what I actually made. So in the case of the cookies, you should make 100 cookies. You actually made 100. You actually made 88. So percent yield is what I made over what I should make times 100. Or actual yield over theoretical yield times 100. So let's take a look at a specific example. Okay, so wine is fermented in a process. Okay, so wine is processed in a process of fermentation where you take fruit sugar, which is fructose, and convert it to alcohol. Using this equation here that's given to us, fructose gives us alcohol and carbon dioxide. So the question is, if I have 941 grams of fructose, that's my given, was used in the preparation of wine, what is the percent yield if after the fermentation I got 327 grams of ethanol? Okay, so I'm starting with 940 grams of this. I end up with 327 grams of this, but that's my actual yield, it's what I got. So we're going to follow 2 steps. The first step is based on this given, how much should I get? And then once I know how much I should get, I can figure out my percent yield using my actual yield. Okay? So I'm going to start with 941 grams of fructose, C6H12O6. And I have to first convert that to moles. And I've determined the molar mass to be 0.18 grams of C6H12O6 is 1 mole of C6H12O6. Now I have to convert that to moles of alcohol that I'm going to get. And let me see, it's going to be 1 mole of this is going to give me 2 moles of this. So 1 mole of C6H12O6 is going to give me 2 moles of ethanol, C2H6O. And I want to know how many grams I'm going to get, right? So what I know is 1 mole of C2H6O. I've determined the molar mass is 46.08 grams. Okay? I want to make sure I can cancel everything. Grams of fructose, moles of fructose, moles of ethanol, moles of ethanol. Okay, if I do my plug and my chug, I am going to get 481 grams, 3 sig figs, right, because I have 3 here, of ethanol. Okay, now to get my percent yield, remember it's what I got, or my actual, which is 327 grams given to me in the problem, over what I should get, which is what I just determined, my theoretical yield, times 100 in order to get it as a percent, and my percent yield is going to be 68.0%. Should be 3 sig figs. And that's going to do it.